Okay, Dad, we've talked about the top 5 nutritional supplements for men. Now, what are the top 5 nutritional supplements you would recommend for women?
Well, again, the green food, especially our green supreme food, that would probably be number one.
Now, why? Why would the green supreme food be number one, in your opinion?
Well, because again, you're getting a concentrated form of nutrition that contains the micronutrients. It creates an alkaline environment in the body, and it's 15 organic fruits, veggies, and superfoods that we simply don't get in our diet, or most people don't get. And then it'd have to be the vitamin D3, because about 70% of my patients are low in vitamin D, critically important for all areas of health.
Now, is that because the sunlight? Most people just stay. I've read some studies. I've heard from you.
It's because we're not exposed to the sun adequately enough. We need to get adequate vitamin D levels. We need at least 10 to 15 minutes of full body exposure, like in a swimsuit.
Okay.
And most people don't do that. They wear sunscreen. And then after that would probably come the pomegranate.
If I could back up, a lot of people ask, what about D2? Because D2's...
D2 is prescribed by doctors, 50,000 units. It's not nearly as effective as vitamin D3 according to the studies.
So you don't prescribe D3 or D2, you recommend D3?
Correct.
Okay.
And after, so we've got our green supreme food, we've got our vitamin D, then probably next would be a good anti-inflammatory nutrient, such as Cellgevity or Max 1.
Okay, going back to Cellgevity or Max 1. So regardless of sex, man or woman, right. Cellgevity or Max 1.
Those are great natural anti-inflammatory supplements.
Okay.
And then pomegranate. Pomegranate is very important to support cardiovascular health, since the number one cause of death in the U.S. is cardiovascular disease. So I take pomegranate twice a day. And then last...
Now, I want to say something, because I remember when we were formulating the pomegranate, because I work with a lot of the suppliers, and you create the formulations, and we get you on the phone with the food scientist, and you guys can go over what you guys think is the most therapeutic dosage per product. And you said, Kyle, I've got to have the punicalagins in there.
Right.
Could you explain to them what the punicalagins are?
Well, the punicalagins it's a antioxidant that's in pomegranate. And once you get a certain amount of punicalagins in the pomegranate, you're getting that cardiovascular support that you need.
And you can only get the punicalagins just from the whole fruit. I mean, you got to take the whole fruit.
Got to take the whole fruit, correct.
And it's got to be grinded down.
You got to have the seeds and the rind and everything from the pomegranate.
So they're getting the benefit of the oils from the seeds, because I know that was your big thing. You wanted to get those oils in there.
We got the whole fruit in there. Is what we have.
And then you've got the active ingredient, that ellagic acid, which I know you like. A lot of data is on the ellagic acid. People don't know this, but when Dad asked me to contact our suppliers and to begin formulating these, he always comes up with the research, and then you hand me the research and you say, find the therapeutic dosage, get the scientist on the phone, this is what I want, it's got to be done this way. And sometimes I'll call him and say, Dad, it's impossible to get it done this way. There's no manufacturer in the world that can do it this way. And I go, well, find a way.
And that's what we do, is find a way.
And you tell me to find a way. And sometimes I'm talking to these scientists going, he wants to do this. He needs to do this. This is how he wants it done. And they're sometimes scratching their heads, but many times we find a way to get it done.
Right. We do.
And I think it's your relentlessness. But I thought I would like to share that with some of the people, because I know they want to hear that. There's a lot of effort that goes into formulating these products. Okay, what's your number 5?
Number 5 would be most likely the active multi, because so many people don't get adequate amounts of their vitamins, especially the active form and the minerals. And so the active multi supplies what you're lacking in your diet, because most people, quite honestly, eat too many processed, refined foods. And another thing that women need that are over 50 is a little extra calcium, not too much. Usually just one of our CalMag K2 D3 tabs a day, 1 or 2 a day with meals is all.
Okay. And chelated or non-chelated?
It is chelated. It is
okay,
chelated,
so you recommend the chelated. So these aren't calciums they can just get at the store. It's got it. Okay.
And the K2 is so important too, because it regulates calcium metabolism. A lot of people are taking too high amounts of calcium or excessive calcium without the K2, and so they're getting calcifications of their arteries or calcifications in their organs. So they just came out with a new study, or a few studies last year, that showed that if you take excessive amounts of calcium from vitamins and foods, it can increase the risk of cardiovascular disease, heart attack, and stroke. And so that's why we're not pushing so much calcium. Just
wow, like milk, calcium in milk?
Exactly, too much calcium in milk, sure.
Okay.
So food sources and vitamin sources, excessive calcium is not good for you.
Okay, wow, that's fascinating. Well,
and another caveat for women over 50.
Oh, we got number 7.
I'm going to
He does
7.
this. He says, I can never limit him.
Well, that's because many times I try and limit it to less than 10 for my patients that come in. But a real important nutrient for so many women is the bioidentical progesterone cream.
The progesterone cream.
Because so many women are low in progesterone, and it really helps. It helps to balance the other hormones of the body too.
Now that you brought that up, what's the difference between women go for the Synthroid, or it's the Armor? Is it the Armor? What's the synthetic form of progesterone cream that doctors prescribe?
Oh, that's the Provera.
The Provera. Okay, so a lot of women.
Doctors prescribe that, but I don't recommend it because it's shown in the study, the Women's Health Initiative of I believe 2002, showed women on the synthetic progesterone or Provera had increased risk of breast cancer, blood clots, heart attacks, and strokes.
Okay, now is there those same concerns with the bioidentical
Not
progesterone?
with the bioidentical. And
okay.
This is the USP grade progesterone. So you're getting actual progesterone, and it's bioidentical, and you don't have the side effects with natural bioidentical progesterone that you do with synthetic.
Okay, well, you guys have heard it. You asked us, what does Dr. Colbert take? What does he recommend? I wanted to get it on video so that.
Well, these are a few key things.
I know there's more.
There's so many more. Like for memory, I love the PQQ, and some other memory nutrients. And for other cardiovascular disease, of course, CoQ10. So it depends on what disease they have as to what restorative supplements and maintenance supplements I recommend.
Okay, well, it's all good information. I know it's going to bless the people out there. I know they're going to learn a lot. One thing I wanted them to also take away is that these supplements that you formulate are backed by years and years of research and data, because really, Dad, you have, I've grown up seeing you. I remember Divine Health when it was created, was it 2001? And you've been now formulating nutrition for over 12 years. And a lot of these guys, they would come to you to formulate their newest products. And it wasn't until 2001 you said, hey, I'm basically formulating for these top companies. Why don't I just create Divine Health? And I've seen you evolve in your nutrition. And some things are cyclical. They come in cycles and they'll come back and it's popular in the market. But you've seen it. Sure. I brought formulations to you that are supposed to be new ingredients or cutting edge, and you go, Kyle, that was
20 years ago.
I tried that 20 years ago. It doesn't work as good as this. Just trust me.
That's right.
So I think there's a lot that goes into your experience and your research and knowledge of the industry and knowledge of the products that ultimately blesses the people that order Divine Health. Right. So thank you. We're going to continue bringing up-to-date new nutritional advice and new products that Dad feels is the best, and ultimately we want to keep the people healthy. We want to bring them up-to-date information, and you're our source for that. So thank you.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure.